Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Nitai go Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaur Hari Bol. Jaya Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Sri Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodara, Radha Damodara, Sri Radhe. So we're going to continue with Chaitanya Lila from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, Chapter 3. And where we left off was with Lord Chaitanya making that unforgettable presentation to his mother. And we as we discussed, he's Matri Bhakta, the best devotee of the mother. Yet he has left home. How do you reconcile the two? If he's the best devotee of the mother, he should be with his mother all the time and never leave home. So what is it to be the best devotee of the mother? We will find out. And furthermore, there'll be a lunch cooking controversy arising. Who gets to cook lunch for Lord Chaitanya during his stay at the house of Advaitacharya before he announces that he's going to Jagannath Puri? So remember the scene at the house of Advaitacharya. Chanting, dancing, and feasting, 10 straight days. 3-hour kirtans, which the devotees were losing themselves in ecstasy, especially Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would collapse on the ground, overwhelmed by transcendental ecstasies. But I was searching yesterday for a quotation from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, which helps to dispel the cloud of impersonalism that covers us unconsciously or consciously. Why we may have difficulty with Lila, pastimes, as the ultimate. The Mayavadi impersonalists who hate the possibility of eternal variety, eternal qualities and activities and forms, say that at best talks about Krishna are a good meditational device to use, a stepping stone for you to reach the impersonal. And then when you do reach merging into the impersonal, you throw away Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes. So you remember the example I quoted from Srila Prabhupada crossing a ditch in Mayapur? Everyone remembers? So in order to properly relish Chaitanya Charitamrita, you should be significantly cleansed from the impersonalistic material tendency, which means my sense perception and calculation is primary. All the qualities, names, forms, and activities I know are material and temporary. So therefore, Krishna's name, form, qualities, and activities must also be material. Because spiritual means pure oneness. Now you would intelligently ask the question, how from 100% non-differentiated oneness does difference come about? How can the one Brahman manifest differences? That would be a violation of the oneness. A material example may help. Just like the sun gives off heat and light, similarly, the Supreme Absolute Truth gives off multifarious energies. For Krishna, all his energies are spiritual. But for those who are conditioned, due to their seeing disconnect between the energy and the energetic source, they see the material energy. And it's true that Krishna in Bhagavad Gita first asks you to see that there's a material energy. He doesn't ask you to artificially immediately jump to the platform of seeing everything as spiritual energy, although that is the vision of the topmost devotees. So what does Krishna ask you to see in Bhagavad Gita? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. These are the Vedic divisions of the material energy, separated from Krishna. But recognize that these energies belong to Krishna. And gradually, as your intensity in bhakti builds, spontaneously you'll see the energy connected to the energetic source. Just like there's lots of milk around here, I hope. Wish there were more butter. I hear Dhruva Maharaj Das is making some butter tomorrow so that I don't starve visiting relatives in Michigan. So, the milk comes from the cow. Everyone knows that here, right? Danya, you know that milk comes from a cow? Very intelligent. So that means without the cow, the milk has no existence, right? So in that way, the milk is non-different from the cow. You get it? But if you boil the milk, are you boiling the cow? So there's a difference. So this is achintya, beta, beta, tattva, simultaneous oneness and difference. So the Mayavadi impersonalists would say the cow and the milk are one, which is partially true only. But there's a difference simultaneously. Because again, if you boil the milk, you're not boiling the cow. So why is it called achintya, beta, beta, tattva? Simultaneous, inconceivable oneness and difference. Or inconceivable, simultaneous oneness and difference. Because your brain can only go one side or the other. Try it. Everything is the same as Krishna. Then everything is different from Krishna. To get it both together is beyond your intellectual capacity. So achintya, it's inconceivable. When the sunshine is in your room, is the sun there? Yes and no. The sun is present in your room because the sunlight is the energy of the sun. But that you have the sunlight in your room doesn't mean you have the sun planet in your room. So there's oneness and difference simultaneously. So let's hear what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur tells us in his very ornate and blunt way. To enhance our abominable debauchery. Everyone knows what that means? Anyone don't know what debauchery means? Parameshwar, you know what debauchery means? You can admit it. It's not a word used commonly in English these days. Maybe early 20th century. It means degenerate behavior, polluted behavior, debased behavior, gross behavior, abominable, corrupt. To enhance our abominable debauchery and to negate the idea of intense love for Krishna. We like to say that God is formless, that he has no eternal form. So your next question should be, how does that enhance to enhance your abominable debauchery? We'll find out. And to negate the idea of intense love for Krishna. That's the motivation behind our saying God is formless and he has no eternal form. If, he goes on to say, if we can prove that God is devoid of hands and legs, then what? Then we can nicely plunder and exploit the world with our own hands and legs. You follow? If God doesn't have a form, doesn't have eyes, we can secretly commit adultery. After all, God cannot see us. We think wealth, women, and fame, for that matter, the whole material world, is meant for our enjoyment and not for God's enjoyment. Because how can God have enjoyment when he has no arms, no legs, no eyes, no form? That leaves the world to us. We've got arms, we've got legs, we've got eyes, we've got form. Let's go for it. This is why our hidden agenda is to make God impersonal. You didn't know you had a hidden agenda, did you? Other than a pure devotee, everyone, including the karmis, gyanis, yogis, and ascetics, want to prove God impersonal. All the mental speculators of the world want to make God impersonal. They think, we will enjoy and be glorified. Why should God get everything? So this is the psychology of the conditioned soul. Krishna talks about this in Bhagavad Gita. Icha, dvesha, samutena, dvandva, mohena, bharata. All living entities emerge in material existence overwhelmed with the desire to imitate Krishna and aversion to following Krishna's instructions. And the perfect way, so-called perfect way, to cultivate aversion to Krishna is to say, there's no eternal personality, no eternal form. The absolute truth is formless, no eyes, no limbs, nothing, no character, no personality. But we've got those things. And I guess it's just left up to us to enjoy the world. You understand? So this is a very incisive quotation from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Now let's go to Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we left off with Sachi Mata praying to Vishnu. Who remembers what she was praying to Vishnu about? Oh.
Because she was thinking her son was getting hurt because he was rolling.
Collapsing in the ground during kirtan. So she's prayed to Vishnu what?
That her son won't feel any pain.
Yes. Whenever Nimai falls to the surface of the earth, please do not let him feel any pain. And what did she feel gave her a possibility of making such a request to Vishnu?
Because she's trying to protect her life.
What was the qualification that she presented that therefore she could make such a request?
She was worried.
Who remembers? Someone else. You're supposed to know all these things. You're Dvija Pitambara. Yes.
Something like if I've done any service for you since...
My dear Lord, kindly bestow this benediction as a result of whatever service I have rendered unto you from my childhood. She's petitioning Lord Vishnu. Just like Mother Yashoda in Krishna Lila, she's appealing to Narayan. Oh, Narayan, please save my boy Krishna. So now it's time to sort out lunch. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is at the home of Advaita Acharya, who is providing food, accommodation for all visiting devotees. What was the nature of the food and accommodation that Advaita Acharya was providing? Who remembers? Unlimited. He's Mahavishnu. From the pores of his body come unlimited universes. So what's the difficulty in his providing unlimited resources for accommodation at his home in Shantipur? But our impersonal tendency tells us what? Nah, mythology. We can't do that. We don't know anyone who can do that. Therefore, it must be mythology. Yet, someone with true wisdom, living in another yuga, other than Kali Yuga, would hear about how people live today and think, mythology. $100 billion spent in 1 year for nuclear weapons? Mythology. 57 billion just in the US alone for nuclear weapons, more than all the other nations, nuclear nations combined? Nah, no one can do like that. So mythology is in the eyes of the beholder. So Advaita Acharya was feeding not only Lord Chaitanya, but all the visiting devotees. But naturally, other devotees wanted to cook for Lord Chaitanya, especially Srivas Thakur. They wanted to invite Lord Chaitanya, come to lunch at our home, or we can cook here for you. This is tradition, because remember, Lord Chaitanya is now a sannyasi. He's no longer known as Nimai Pandit. He's a sannyasi. And so, as Prabhupada explains in the purport, it is the duty of all grihastas to invite a sannyasi to their homes if the sannyasi happens to be in the neighborhood or village. This very system is still current in India. So even though Advaita Acharya was supplying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with prasadam, the other devotees from Navadvip and Shantipur also desired to offer him prasadam. Every ashram has its particular way of purification. For the Grihastha ashram, the purification is giving in charity. And that makes the household ashram more outgoing rather than simply inclusive, all for me and the bodies in relation to me. So every ashram has its particular method of austerity. For the sannyasis, it's traveling. Anyone here think constant traveling is glamorous? But that's the austerity of the sannyas ashram. You're not supposed to stay in one place too long to become a burden to others, because wherever you are, they're supposed to feed you. So rather than burn out the people in one location, you move around. But Advaita Acharya wants all the opportunities. You can't blame him for that, can you? I'm thinking of an incident from Srila Prabhupada's times with us. His servant personally told me this. They were in France at the Paris temple. And so Prabhupada, one of his servants, was supposed to cook lunch. He was a brahmachari. about the age of Dvija Pitambra. So he went to the kitchen to prepare Prabhupada's meals, and then he came back up to Prabhupada's room and said, I can't do it, Prabhupada, I just can't do it. Prabhupada said, well, what's the problem? All these French girls are in the kitchen. It's too much. The servant personally told me, he's like, all these French ladies moving their eyes at me saying, ooh la la. It's an exaggeration, but that was his portrayal. So it's Prabhupada, I can't do it. Prabhupada said, all right, I shall not eat. And then the devotee got the point. You have to tolerate somehow for the sake of service. So Advaita Acharya wants all the cooking opportunities. It's his house. But others want in. So hearing these proposals made by other devotees of the Lord, Mother Sachi said to the devotees, how many times shall I get the chance to see Nimai again? She's still calling him Nimai. All the other devotees want to cook lunch for Lord Chaitanya, but Mother Sachi is there, and she's saying, wait a minute, this is my only chance. He's a sannyasi, he's going to be gone. Please. She makes a presentation to the devotees. As far as you are concerned, you can meet Nimai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, many times somewhere else. But what is the possibility of my ever meeting him again? I shall have to remain at home. A sannyasi never returns to his home. That's the strict Vedic principle. Of course, we don't live in Vedic times. I'm visiting my mother's home Tuesday for 48 hours, not even 48 hours. The strict Vedic injunction is a sannyasi leaves not only home, but leaves his home area. I shall have to remain at home. A sannyasi never returns to his home. So Mother Sachi is going to appeal to the devotees. Please give me this in charity. That's how you request from a Vaishnava. Please give me this benediction. Please give me this boon. Please give me this charity. As long as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained at the house of Advaita Acharya, only she would supply him food. So what do you think? Can you blame her for making such a request? It's a B? Oh, okay. Can you blame her for making such a request? Any mothers here? What do you think, Kumari Gopi?
I think it's fair.
But he's taking sannyas. You say, so what? Huh? What does Chintamani say? She's a mother.
I think it's also fair.
Any wannabe mothers here? Madhupan Lila, are you a wannabe mother? Huh? So what do you think of this, her attitude? Grant me this boon, please. Hmm? So she wants to be the only one, the only cook. Hearing this appeal from Mother Sachi, all the devotees offered obeisances and said, we all agree to whatever Mother Sachi desires. Amazing. They all agreed. Oh, yes, she's made a fair proposition. We all agree. They all had so much respect and love for Sachi Mata. After all, she's Mother Yashoda. However, what was the reaction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Wasn't so happy with this, what you might call tight embrace from his mother. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw his mother's great eagerness, he became a little agitated. He therefore assembled all the devotees present and spoke to them. So you were, the ladies here who are mothers, or want to be mothers, they felt that Sachi Mata had made a fair proposal, but Lord Chaitanya was feeling a bit transcendently disturbed. It is a bit too much. She's being too restrictive, too possessive. I'm a sannyasi, I'm supposed to be free. So now we're going to hear from Lord Chaitanya speaking to the assembled devotees. He informs them all, without your order, I tried to go to Vrindavan. There was some obstacle, however, and I had to return. After his taking sannyas, he wanted to go to Vrindavan. According to Vrindavan Das Thakur, he heard a voice from the sky saying, it's not time yet. Go back to Madhya. And what Chaitanya Charitamrita will tell you is that Nityananda conspired with some cowherd boys to bewilder Lord Chaitanya, who was lost in ecstasy, telling him this is the way to Vrindavan, when actually that path led back to Shantipur. So now Lord Chaitanya is saying, all right, it was without your order. Just see how he's showing his dependency on the devotees. Without your order, I tried to go to Vrindavan. There was some obstacle, however, and I had to return. So before, how do we say, laying down the law, before making his point, he first appeals to the hearts of the devotees. We can learn from this. Before you say something stern, you appeal to the hearts. My dear friends, although I have suddenly accepted this renounced order, I still know that I shall never be indifferent to you. My dear friends, as long as I remain manifest, I shall never give you up, nor shall I be able to give up my mother. So that's the preamble, the introduction. Now what's coming? After accepting sannyas, it is not the duty of a sannyasi to remain at his birthplace encircled by relatives. Make some arrangement so that I may not leave you, and at the same time people may not blame me for remaining with relatives after taking sannyas. So he's asking the assembled devotees, come up with a method that I won't look unbona fide. It's not proper for a sannyasi to remain in his hometown encircled by relatives. Just like, although this is not the Vedic times, I'm visiting relatives for not even 48 hours annually. They want me to stay, but what service is there for me to do? That's why a sannyasi, until the last stage of life, is always meant to be on the move. So Lord Chaitanya wants to demonstrate the strict principles of sannyas, strict behavior, much to the pain of his devotees. They want him to relax a bit. After all, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What does he need to do austerities for? But Lord Chaitanya is determined to rigidly demonstrate the principles of sannyas. So he's asking his followers, figure out a way that I can maintain my sannyas principles and at the same time I don't cast you all aside, the devotees as well as my own mother. Figure out something. So an ingenious arrangement arises. After hearing Lord Chaitanya's statement, all the devotees, headed by Advaita Acharya, approached Mother Sachi. When they submitted Lord Chaitanya's statement, Mother Sachi, who is the mother of the universe, began to speak. So they went to Lord Chaitanya, headed by Advaita Acharya. The assembled devotees were headed by Advaita Acharya, and they presented that, your son is feeling quite uncomfortable with your proposition. But they're going to make, by their presence, by the presence of the devotees, a solution emerges, a brilliant solution. So now they're going to submit Lord Chaitanya's anxiousness to Mother Sachi, who's also anxious. You would wonder, how can there be such anxieties in pure love of Krishna? Lord Chaitanya is anxious to protect his sannyas principles. Sachi Mata is anxious. She wants him around all the time. At least she wants to cook for him whenever he's near. So now, thinking about it, in the assembly of devotees, Sachi Mata is going to come up with a revision. She says, on the one hand, it'll be a great happiness for me if Nimai, she's still calling him Nimai, stays here. If he stays at home or stays in his hometown, it'll be great happiness for me. She's being very honest and forthright. But at the same time, if someone blames him for not following sannyas principles properly, if someone blames him, it will be my great unhappiness. So she's presenting a paradox here. Oh, if he would only stay at home or in his hometown with me, I'd be so happy. But if someone accuses him of being unbona fide, that would also be not my happiness, but my unhappiness. So what to do? Any mothers here have a solution? Dhruva, does your mother have a solution? I'll read the purport because it's very instructive. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is great happiness for a mother if her son does not leave home to search out Krishna, but remains with her. Yes, mothers will agree with that? You'll agree with that? Kumari Gopi, you agree? It is great happiness for a mother if her son does not leave home to search out Krishna, but remains with her. At the same time, if a son does not search after Krishna, but simply remains at home, he is certainly blamed by experienced saintly persons. Such blame certainly causes great unhappiness for a mother. What to do? If a real mother wants her son to progress spiritually, she had better allow him to go out searching for Krishna. The mother naturally desires the welfare of the son. If a mother does not allow her son to search for Krishna, she is called Ma, which indicates Maya. By allowing her son to go as a sannyasi and search for Krishna, Sachi Mata instructs all mothers of the world. Okay, all mothers of the world, are you ready for such instruction? She indicates that all sons should become real devotees of Krishna and should not stay at home under the care of an affectionate mother. This is supported by Srimad Bhagavatam 5:18. Gurur nasasyat, swajano nasasyat, pita nasasyaj, janani nasasyat, daivam natatsyan, napatish tasasyan, namochayad ya samupeta mrityum. Translation: no one should become a spiritual master, nor a relative, father, mother, worshipable deity, or husband, if he cannot help a person escape the imminent path of death. So that's, don't become a guru, don't become a relative, don't become a father, don't become a mother, don't become a worshipable deity, don't become a husband. If you cannot help your dependent, your student, whatever the relationship is, if you can't help that person escape the cycle of repeated birth and death. Sounds too severe, doesn't it? What do you think?
No,
Makes sense, huh?
I think so.
Okay. You're in the right place. Every living entity is wandering within the universe, subjected to the law of karma, and transmigrating from one body to another and from one planet to another. Therefore, the whole Vedic process is meant to save the wandering living entities from the clutches of Maya, birth, death, disease, and old age. So you may think, what's the big deal? Okay, there's disease, there's old age, there's death. You say like that until it hits you. Then your tune changes. And you've forgotten all about the miseries of birth. How many here remember being in the mother's womb or emerging from the mother's womb? Anyone? You remember, Danya. What was it like?
It was a little watery.
Inside the womb was watery? What were you doing? Swimming. How far did you swim? What else were you doing?
I was sleeping a lot.
You remember? What else? Tell us more.
I was playing a little.
Huh?
I was playing a little.
Praying in the womb, you remember? Oh. More. Tell us more.
That's mostly all I did.
Huh?
There was only one more thing I did. Play.
Play in the womb? With what?
With my feet.
You were kicking your mother's womb? You remember? Did she tell you to stop?
I couldn't hear her, but I could hear from outside, but she didn't tell me to stop.
You can hear sounds from the outside. Tell us more.
That's all I remember doing.
Huh? That's all you remember doing. Do you remember coming out of the womb? No, too traumatic. You don't know what traumatic means. Very painful experience. Very good. So you were praying and playing? Both. Okay. We have first-hand scientific testimony here. She gave her testimony before she'll forget. As she gets older, she'll forget. All the past life studies point out that by the time the child's around 8 years old, all those memories of the past life, of being in the womb, they just go due to social conditioning. Therefore, the whole Vedic process is meant to save the wandering living entities from the clutches of Maya. It's a very poetic expression, the clutches of Maya. Do you ever clutch something? So we're in the grip of something. But we think, what's the problem? If we were more Krishna conscious, we'd understand that our whole day and night in material existence, when we're not doing devotional service, is about counteracting material miseries. It's a little chilly, you put on something. Gets a little warm, you take it off. This is struggle, but we don't see it that way. We just think, I am putting on my sweater. You don't think, I am struggling now. You don't think that way. You're counteracting misery. When you brush your teeth, that's work. Why are you brushing your teeth? Because you're counteracting potential tooth decay and bad breath. But you don't think that way. You just think, oh, I'm just brushing my teeth, looking at myself in the mirror. But you're counteracting. It's a struggle. In dealing with others, you have to communicate. You have to express yourself properly. You have to say the right thing. You have to be careful what you say, because you don't want to suffer the reaction of bad communication. This is all struggling. This is all counteracting. Yet, I was hearing Prabhupada say today, if someone says, why don't you make the ultimate counteraction and get out of material existence? Oh, too much. But your whole day is a series of counteractions. Just like Jambavati, spanning herself. She's counteracting. But people don't think in that way. She does, but others trapped in material existence just think, oh, I'm just fanning. What's the problem? Thank God I have a fan. Hallelujah. But looking at the situation much more deeply, what you're seeing is a struggle, a counteraction. Then now because she's too warm, she's fanning herself, but then if it gets too cold, it's going to get chilly tonight. She'll counteract that misery another way. So Prabhupada's point is, since you're spending your day and night counteracting, why can't you make the ultimate counteraction? No, that's going too far. Just see how much of nonsense we are. This means stopping the cycle of birth and death. This cycle can be stopped only if one worships Krishna. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tattvataha chakta deham punar janma naiti mameti so Arjuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. To stop the cycle of birth and death, one has to understand Krishna as he is. Simply by knowing Krishna, one can stop the process of rebirth into this material world. By acting in Krishna consciousness, one can return to Godhead. The highest perfection of life is for a father, mother, spiritual master, husband, or any other family member to help others return home back to Godhead. That is the most preferred welfare activity for the benefit of relatives. I wish I could tell my family that. Therefore, Sachi Mata, although the mother of Nimai Pandit, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, considered all the facts and decided what? To allow her son to go out and search for Krishna. At the same time, she made some arrangements in order that she might get news of all the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there's some stipulation that she can sort of get her way, but not in a way that interferes with Lord Chaitanya's sannyas activities. So what does she come up with? Mothers can be very ingenious when they want to be. She comes up with this. We'll wait till this plane passes. Mother Sachi said, "This consideration is good." What's that consideration she's referring to? In my opinion, if Nimai remains at Jagannath Puri, he may not leave any one of us, and at the same time, he can remain aloof as a sannyasi. Thus, both purposes are fulfilled. How is that? She gives a further explanation about Jagannath Puri and Navadvip and their correlation, their relationship. Have any of you ever gone from Mayapur, Navadvip to Jagannath Puri? You took the train or you flew? Oh, you didn't go?
No.
Any?
Train.
Train from Calcutta? Overnight train?
The other day.
So it's not so far. So this is what she says. Since Jagannath Puri and Navadvip are intimately related, as if they were two rooms in the same house. People from Navadvip generally go to Jagannath Puri, and those in Jagannath Puri go to Navadvip. This going and coming will help carry news of Lord Chaitanya. In this way, I will be able to get news of him. She came up with this compromise. Often in life, we encounter situations in which we have to compromise. I was asking Surapal Prabhu and Krishna Mahi Devi, what was their marriage secret after how many years? 25 years. 30. 35. 35 years. They said, one of the things they said was the ability to compromise. She wants to spend more time with the relatives. He thinks too much. So they had to work something out. So Mother Sachi has worked out something brilliantly. Jagannath Puri and Navadvip are like two rooms in the same house. Even though they're distant from each other, the distance is not insurmountable, and devotees are always traveling back and forth between those two places. So all she wants is news of her Nimai. No matter how much, for example, no matter how much I call my mother, it's not enough. I call her every month, and then, but at her age, she forgets that I just called the previous month. You haven't called for months. I said, mark your calendar. I called last month. I just want news of you. Where are you? Where in the world are you? She has a world map on her wall, and so she can try to figure out where I am in the world. For all I know, she puts marks on the map. Now he's in Mumbai. Now he's in Sofia, Bulgaria. Now he's in Beijing. It's hard for me to understand. For me, it's like, what does it matter where I am? I'm calling on the phone. Isn't that enough? But she wants to be aware of where I am. And then she repeats the same old line. I remember when you were my little baby in my arms. Every month I have to hear this. Something only mothers can understand, right? Is it true, Chintamani Devi? So Mother Sachi has come up with a compromise, so that she can get news of Lord Chaitanya. And she further elaborates, all you devotees will be able to come and go, and sometimes he may also come to take his bath in the Ganges. And then her culmination. I do not care for my personal happiness or unhappiness, but only for his happiness. Indeed, I accept his happiness as my happiness. Intense. Can you think of yourself saying that to someone? I do not care for my personal happiness or unhappiness, but only for his happiness. Indeed, I accept his happiness as my happiness. This is Vatsalya Prem, an expression of pure love of Krishna in parental love. It may remind you of descriptions of the gopis in Chaitanya Charitamrita who have no way of sensing happiness except through the happiness of Krishna. And you may remember the last chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ancha Lila, where Srimati Radharani, Lord Chaitanya is in the role of Srimati Radharani, saying that if my unhappiness makes Krishna happy, then I won't call it my unhappiness, I'll call it my happiness. That's the standard of pure bhakti. We hold that standard high above our heads. If my unhappiness makes Krishna happy, I won't call it my unhappiness anymore. I'll call it my happiness. So she's saying this to all the devotees. And they're going to report back to Lord Chaitanya. After hearing Sachi Mata, all the devotees offered her prayers and assured her that her order, like a Vedic injunction, could not be violated. All the devotees informed Lord Chaitanya of Sachi Mata's decision. Hearing it, the Lord became very pleased. He liked the solution. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered respects to all the devotees present from Navadvip and other towns, and he spoke to them as follows. My dear friends, you are all my intimate friends. Now I am begging a favor of you. Please give it to me. Notice how they talk in Chaitanya Charitamrita. They're not being phonies. They're not being just saying these things. Sometimes devotees, they say various devotional expressions to one another. Oh, Prabhu, it's all your mercy. What you're seeing in Chaitanya Charitamrita is real Vaishnava relationships. My dear friends, you are all my intimate friends. Now I am begging a favor of you. Please give it to me. Instead of do this, do that, do that. I'm begging a favor of you. Please give it to me. Naturally, hearing such heart-touching overtures, someone will be open to what you have to say, what you have to request. Lord Chaitanya requested them all to return home and begin chanting the holy name congregationally. What are you going to say to that? Is that all? Is that all he wants? Yes, that's all he wants. Go home and have congregational chanting in your home. He also requested them to worship Krishna, chant his holy name, and discuss his holy pastimes. So Prabhupada seizes the opportunity to expand on this verse in which Lord Chaitanya is requesting everyone, in your home, chant Hare Krishna, worship Krishna, discuss his pastimes, have congregational chanting, kirtan. So we'll read the purport and then we'll take some questions. Purport. The cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Hare Krishna movement, and bear in mind, Prabhupada's using cult in the Old English sense, of not the modern sense, cult. Ooh. The Old English meaning of cult is a group of persons who are cultivating something. In that sense, everyone in the material world is in a cult. They're all cultivating something. The question is, what are they cultivating? So just remember, this is the Old English usage of the word cult. The cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Hare Krishna movement, is very nicely explained by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu authoritatively. It is not that everyone has to take sannyas like Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everyone can execute the cult of Krishna consciousness at home as ordered by the Lord. Everyone can congregationally chant the holy name of Krishna, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. One can also discuss the subject matter of the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and install deities of Radha Krishna or Gaura Nitai, or both, and worship them very carefully in one's own home. It is not that we have to open different centers all over the world. Whoever cares for the Krishna conscious movement can install deities at home and, under superior guidance, worship the deity regularly, chanting the Maha Mantra and discussing the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. We are actually teaching in our classes how to go about this. One who feels that he is not yet ready to live in a temple or undergo strict regular principles in the temple, especially householders who live with a wife and children, can start a center at home by installing the deity, worshiping the Lord morning and evening, chanting Hare Krishna, and discussing the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyone can do this at home without difficulty, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested all the devotees present there to do so. So that is the request that Lord Chaitanya was begging. So after thus instructing the devotees, the Lord asked their permission to go to Jagannath Puri. What is he asking permission for? But this is Lord Chaitanya showing how he's dependent on his pure devotees, even though he's the supreme independent. Because of their love, he chooses to be dependent on them. Just like Krishna allows Mother Yashoda to bind him with a rope. Because of her love, he is depending on her. After thus instructing the devotees, the Lord asked their permission to go to Jagannath Puri. He assured them that at intervals he would come there and meet them again and again. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered due respects to all the devotees and, smiling very mildly, bade them farewell. So any questions? You see, Chaitanya Charitamrita is packed with instructions about how to sustain the Hare Krishna movement, because this is Prabhupada's fail-safe strategy. He said several times that worse comes to worse, if all the temple leaders, if all the head pujaris, all the sannyasis, all the governing body commissioners, if they all just disappear, God forbid, someone somewhere will find one of his books, he said, and read them and know exactly how to restart the Hare Krishna movement. So this is his fail-safe policy. So therefore in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll find so many instructions about what to do. As we just heard. Not everyone has to take sannyas. Ladies like to hear that, right? Kumari Gopi says, yes, yes. No sannyas, right? What does Parijata say? Let him go, huh? Let him go. So often in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you'll find in the purports instructions what to do, how to carry on Lord Chaitanya's mission. You have a question? Yes. You're going to tell us more about life in the womb?
No.
You have any more secrets?
Wait, but I remember something from yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I remembered when she was in charge of the cooking
Mm.
and she saw Lord Chaitanya rolling on the ground.
Mm.
That reminded me of something that my mom got worried once when I rolled on the ground cement.
When did you roll on the ground?
I rolled on the cement once and she got a little scared.
What's that, Shastra Kriya?
She rolled on the cement and mom got scared.
Why were you rolling on cement?
Because I wanted to have some fun.
Well, that's different from Lord Chaitanya's rolling on the ground in spiritual ecstasy. You were just a little kid playing. Or were you in ecstasy?
Now I'm just thinking of kirtan.
I'm glad you're thinking of kirtan. Very good. All right. Yes.
Gurudev, thank you so much for continuing to read Chaitanya Charitamrita. In text number 172, we heard about all the devotees unanimously agreeing with Mother Sachi to her proposal. And so I wonder, is that sort of agreement only possible when there's a pure devotee making the proposal? It seems that our modern devotees can't achieve such cooperation.
Well, you're dealing with eternally liberated souls.
What about in the presence of Srila Prabhupada?
Srila Prabhupada is like the master doctor dealing with sick patients, giving them the chance to become healthy. So, as we heard in a purport yesterday, the associates of Lord Chaitanya are all liberated, Nityasiddhas, eternally liberated beings. But even in the topmost portion of the spiritual world, there are disagreements. Don't you know that? Otherwise, are you impersonal? There has to be disagreement. But the disagreement is for Krishna's pleasure. Just like the gopis, they sometimes they interfere with one another. You shouldn't be with Krishna. They're different groups of gopis. That's disagreement. Chandravali, the leader of the rival group of gopis, prepares a nice bed of roses for Krishna, and then the wind blows through the air, bringing the fragrance of Srimati Radharani. And Krishna suddenly makes an excuse to Chandravali. Look, I have to go. And takes off. There's disagreement. But it's all for Krishna's pleasure. So we have to learn how to disagree for Krishna's pleasure. Because we're individuals, there must be disagreement. But is the disagreement for Krishna's pleasure or is it not? Or partially so? So you mentioned Srila Prabhupada and his presence. He was very pragmatic. He quoted a Bengali proverb that if there's some clay pots, cooking pots on a bullock cart, and the bullock cart is moving, there's going to be some noise as the cooking pots rub together. Got to expect that. Similarly, when there are individuals together, there's going to sometimes be some friction. But it should be resolved by focusing on Krishna and the spiritual master's pleasure. So he was not a utopian, and he said we're not utopians in the impersonal sense. No difference of vision, no difference of opinion on how to serve Krishna. No, we're all about unity and diversity. You have to practice that even in your own household life, right? You want to do something one way, the wife wants to do something another way. What to do? Krishnamai wants to spend much time with her relatives. Surapal Prabhu says, "Oh, it's a bit too much. Time for us to go back to Gita Nagari." You got to work something out. But they have the common goal. Let's together serve Krishna. So with that principle firmly in the center, differences can be resolved. You can ask Jagannath Pandit Prabhu and Chintamani Devi. They've been married for how long? 34. So Surapal and Krishnamai are 1 year more. How to keep Krishna in the center. It's like driving a car. Sometimes you go too much to the right, sometimes too much to the left, but you got to keep your hands on the wheel. You can't act like you have a self-driving car. I saw those in Atlanta. Have you seen them on the road yet? Yeah, in Atlanta. I looked out the window and there was this car with a dome on top. And someone's sitting in the back and there's no driver. It's coming. Self-driving cars. It's not a myth. It's not a fantasy.
And trucks too.
Yes. Next, airplanes. It's already drones. So you can't have relationships on autopilot. You're constant adjusting, readjusting. So there will be differences of perception, differences of opinion. But if it's all about how to serve Krishna, the arguments are considered spiritual. Okay? So you might say, well, with Prabhupada's presence, everyone should have just ki jai. We all agree on everything. Not possible. But there were certain things that Prabhupada wanted, and those who really wanted to tune in to what he wanted, they did it. So he knew how to give everyone a chance, but at the same time, getting done what he needed to get done. So if he worked through those who were good instruments for whatever amount of time, maybe just 1 year, maybe 2 years, maybe a lifetime, while encouraging everyone. At the same time, he's pushing on the program that his spiritual master gave him. Simply, he would say again and again, I'm simply trying to satisfy my guru. I'm simply trying to follow his instructions. Please help me. Help him what? To follow and please his spiritual master. Anything else? Yes?
I was thinking today about I wanted to try to practice just focus on the pleasure of the beloved and not thinking about my own pleasure. And I wanted to practice that, and I realized how difficult it was to practice even with my husband. And so I was thinking, is it possible to practice thinking about the pleasure of the beloved? Is that only for Krishna, or if I want to practice say pure devotional service for Krishna, who would be the object to practice? Like the Guru and Krishna only, or is that possible to practice it also with the devotees?
Of course. As your spiritual consciousness expands, you'll be able to see all living entities as part and parcel of Krishna. And that means you become better and better at relating to others in a way that inspires their service to Krishna, whether it's your husband or friend or someone you meet at school. I'll tell you a secret. If you really want to know the express way to pleasing Krishna, remember Prabhupada's famous words, "Where is book? Where is book? Where is book? Where are the Vietnamese books?" That was the challenge he gave us with Chaitanya Charitamrita and the 5th Canto Bhagavatam. He wanted them all in 2 months. So he said, if you kindly help me, simply asking, where is book? Where is book? Where is book? So of course you have to work also, we understand. You have your home life. But always have those words in the back of your consciousness. Where is book? Where is book? Where is book? Vietnam is 120 million people. They don't have Srimad Bhagavatam in their language. You're the only one who seems to take it seriously. I was talking to the BBT director in charge of Vietnam, and I was, just to provoke him a bit, I was saying, maybe I should tell Parmeshwari, just don't worry so much about this. No, please, please. I said, she's got things to do. She's a married lady. She's got to work, you know. In other words, I was prodding him that you should be more helpful. He should be more helpful. Vietnam's a very important country. Such nice persons. They need Krishna. Anything else? Yes.
Gurudev, both this visit and last visit, you talked about the importance of attendance in the learning program. And we also hear a lot about the importance of attendance in Bhagavatam class. But practically speaking, sometimes for the morning pujaris, especially, it can be difficult to attend both.
Yes.
If you do attend both with your schedule, it might be the afternoon before you chant your round.
Right.
So is it, like, should we, like, is it okay to skip one, or, like, how do we practically resolve this?
Pray that more devotees will come. But I noticed, this morning I was exhausted, otherwise I would have been there. But I noticed the day before, yesterday I noticed, Mangal Arti started at 4:35.
Yeah, the normal waker didn't come.
Oh,
so I was coming from morning program and noticed the lights were off.
So you were pressed into emergency service.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was wondering what's going on. Who's the normal waker?
That day is Keishi Martin.
Oh, he just didn't show up.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened.
Huh? He was out of town and that was not communicated. There are 2 important principles of deity worship: punctuality and cleanliness. So therefore I noticed what's going on. But I'm very happy that you took upon yourself to fill the gap.
I'll do what I can for you.
Yes.
I hear how you and I've heard from other advanced devotees are able to deal with family quite nicely, even when they don't understand, and even with the garlic thing, do things that are kind of contrary to what we would prefer. And at least for me, I'm not so good at.
I wasn't so good at it in the beginning either.
So what's the art of keeping some kind of regular relationship with family, even if we don't really care what they are interested in?
In the beginning, we tend to be a bit fanatical, which is understandable because we want to make a break from material existence. Gradually, as we become more mature, we don't feel so immediately threatened, although we should always feel threatened by the material energy. It doesn't come across in such an extreme way. So gradually we develop the art of how to be respectful and sensitive to others without compromising our principles. But in the beginning it can seem a bit jarring, especially to family members. What? Suddenly you don't talk to us? You don't want to talk the way we talk, about the things we talk? I remember once I was riding in a car with some family members, my mother included, and as the saying goes, if you want peace at a family gathering, there are two things you don't talk about. What are they? Religion and politics. So I just kept my mouth shut and didn't say anything. And I was riding in the car, and just suddenly I couldn't, uncontrollably, I just said, Hare Krishna. What's that? What's that? Oh, nothing. That's why I say after 24 hours, I've had my limit.
Are they at all open to hearing about Krishna?
No. And Lila Kishori's not there, so. No. But I hear, I'm talking like this because I don't think they're going to listen to these. I think they stopped trying to listen to my lectures and couldn't figure out what's going on. So what was I going to say? They've got that Midwest culture of one way only. Although, here's what I was going to say. My other sister is mellowing a bit, and she's saying, well, I think of what you're doing. She told this to Lila Kishori. I think what you're doing is like what Jesus said in the Bible, that I have other sheep in another flock that you don't know about. Oh. They're also mine. So she's trying to see us in that light. Whereas back in my Soviet bloc days, she wrote me a letter, very inspiring and encouraging. She wrote, I'm simply praying to Jesus that all your endeavors fail. She's a lot better since then.
Do they ever ask questions?
Huh?
Are they curious? Or
No.
questions?
How can you be curious?
Not
To
at
be
all.
curious means there could be a possibility of something else. Nope, shut down. So all I can talk about is traveling. That's one hook I can give them to hang their coat on. I can talk about the various seat distances on various airlines. All the things that traveling sannyasis know. Don't take this airline, the distance between the seats is too small. This airline is always late, that one's always on time. It's like, you ever flown Singapore Airlines? Who here has flown Singapore Airlines? No one. Yes. They teach you how to surrender to Krishna, the flight attendants. You just move an eyelash and, yes, can we help you? They're famous for that. Anything else? You have a question or memory of life in the womb?
It's a question. Like, what you said a few minutes ago, like, when you said a few words a minute ago, it reminded me of something that's not about me. Maybe if you talk a bit of the words that you said before, I can remember what I was going to say.
All right, you think about what you're going to say. Anyone else? Yes?
Prabhupada, yesterday you were saying just to hear Lord Chaitanya's kirtan, this voice, is worth a whole life of dedication to devotional service. So could you elaborate on that?
Well, what's the need of elaboration?
Is that how it
There's Krishna's flute, and there's Lord Chaitanya singing kirtan.
doing one, fully surrendering, we can hear Lord Chaitanya's kirtan in one life?
Sure, why not? Last question. Baba Prabha, you have no questions? You're usually full of them. All right. Huh?
Relationship. An example could be family. When someone is continuously maybe misunderstanding your actions or your words or your behaviors, is it impersonal to not focus on having them understand but seeing how you can inspire them, or is that impersonal?
A devotee prays in every situation, what's the best way I can act in this relationship for the sake of Krishna's pleasure? If that's your intent, Krishna will give you intelligence what to do. You can start by understanding from Nectar of Instruction. You've read that? The 6 loving exchanges.
I just finished it.
Very good. We're proud of you. So study the 6 loving exchanges. You can always practice that. Everyone knows the 6 loving exchanges? Anyone who doesn't?
I don't.
Oh. Giving prasad and receiving prasad. You like that one, huh?
Yeah.
Giving gifts and receiving gifts. And revealing one's mind and having one's mind revealed to you. That doesn't mean just any garbage that's in your mind. It means how to serve Krishna better and impediments that prevent service to Krishna. Reveal your mind about that. That's a loving exchange. You know your question now? Yeah. All right, last question. You're the last one.
Well, I was going to say, if someone's curious, is that okay or not?
Curious about what?
Curious about, like, something that they want to know.
Give me an example.
Like, if you want to know what's the baby's name,
If you want to know,
what's the baby's name before they're born or after?
is that a big issue for you?
I just wanted to ask you, like, if you could be curious.
You're curious about such things? Well, ask your mother and she can probably help you. All right, so the next time we'll meet again is Friday for Balaram's appearance day, classes at 11 a.m.?
Yes.
All right, we'll hear all about Balaram Baba. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.